Hello, welcome to DWTT. And today's show, it's called My Five. I'm going to go over our last game against Crystal Palace, and give you the five players that I wanted to talk about. Some of them good, some of them bad. First player, Leno. He had a really good game. He made stops. He was solid, moving the ball around. Um, Basically he did everything that we would have wanted him to do. He made a couple of a couple of plays. I call them the that play. You know, that play in the game where you need one of your players to actually stand up and actually do something more than they typically they normally do, and make a stop. And he did that when Benteke's header came in. He got a hand on it and pushed it out, and was able to stop the next shot that came right after it. So he did really good. So that's the first player on my five list. Next up is Xhaka. Not one of my favorite players, but he had a decent game. He showed up. He had a lot of he did make some mistakes, but I think as a whole, the team kind of was just not was just not there. So there were a lot of mistakes going around. So, for many of the mistakes that he may have made, he did make a lot of positive plays. A couple of stops of balls coming into the box, he cleared out and stopped any kind of some penetration that got in there. So as a whole, he played well. It's hard for me to say that. It's not, as I said, he's kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but he had a good game. And one of the things that I talk about, is when I think about that game, is he did have a good game, but as a whole, the team didn't look really good. So are those correlate? Is that kind of what we get? I mean, in past games where we've had, when we were winning games, I didn't notice him as much. So I feel like the less we have to talk about them, probably the better games we're going to have, because that means others are, performing as they have in the past. Next up is Ceballos. Along with Xhaka, they actually didn't play that bad. They made some moving the ball forward. He didn't make as many stops as I saw from Xhaka, but all in all, I didn't really have much negative to say about him in the game. So, that's kind of where I'll leave it at there. The next two players are kind of on my did not really have a good game. First up is Maitland-Niles. This is probably one of his worst games of the season so far. I don't know if that's due to one being out of position, two maybe just not being in form, because he's been out of he hasn't really got to play a number of games back to back. He made many. I mean, I guess it started with his first cross. That cross never made it onto the field. It went out and stayed out there. I know it's this is playing from a side he's not comfortable with, but he can play out there. He made a lot of loose passes, and he wasn't the only one, but he made too many, I think, for what we needed out of him today, or should I say, yesterday when we played. Just not a good day for him at all. Hopefully, he gets an opportunity to play again. Hope this one game isn't gonna shoot him down, because I do want to see him play a little bit more. Next is Bamiyang. Yeah, he like when I mentioned Leno, he makes that play. Aubameyang, I think he needs to do that. He scored in the last game, but that was set up by Tierney. He was out, so he needed to actually step up. And if he's the captain and he's our leader, he's going to have to make those plays. You should be able to look back at any games that he's played and say, you know what, he made that play. I know it's not exactly the way he would like it. He needs the ball to be delivered a certain way, but at some point you're going to have to come out of your shell and do something for the team and show that, you know what, if if you're not able to get me the ball, then I'll be able to do something with it regardless. He wasn't able to do that, and that's another reason why we probably didn't score. I mean, but I'd like to see him actually come out and do a little bit more. Whatever it is. A lot of times he gets the ball out there on the wing or out there, and he just doesn't seem like he wants to attack the defense as much as I would like to see. Even if that means going in and taking the ball down to the byline and maybe putting a cross in or something. But he needs to do something a little bit out of his shell to help the team along, because they need it. And with that, I think that's it for my five. But once again, I'll leave you with this. Life is a journey. Don't waste the trip. Enjoy the ride. All right. Thank you, Gooners.